Good evening and welcome. Well, let me tell you something. You can talk about almost any particular ethnic or class group in Britain today, but not the white working class. Why do we neglect the white working class? Can you tell me? Because in this little video and this debate, I'm hoping we're going to find out. Forget about czars for anti-Muslim feeling or sentiment or hate crime. What about the white working class? Why are they constantly ignored? Love your opinion on this. This is going to be a humdinger of a show. Let me tell you, I've got some strong opinions. I'm sure you have as well. But it seems to me that white working class Britons, particularly men, boys, have been abandoned. Why? They are the backbone of this country. Without your so-called toxic masculinity, we may as well roll over. Oh, we're doing it anyway, aren't we, with Starmer? But we may as well roll over and let the Russians in. I've left my collar up on my brand new shirt. I do apologize. It's the Jon Gaunt Show. If you want to join in, get your comments now in the comment box, because I really want your opinions, and I think this is going to go down tremendously. Got a view? I want to hear it. Get your comments in now. Right then, good evening. Welcome to the Jon Gaunt Show on Jon Gaunt TV. And tonight, as I say, I want to talk about a group that seems to have disappeared from polite conversation in the United Kingdom. I'm talking about the white working class, especially white working class young men. Labour, Starmer, is about to appoint, or is doing it today, an anti-Muslim hate czar. We need that like we need a hole in the head, don't we? Of course, tackling hatred and racism is necessary. But here's my question. Who stands up for the white working class lads of this country? Especially when you look at the facts, they've got the worst educational outcomes in the country. Less of them go to university, less of them go into so-called professional jobs. The BBC are biased against them. Every educational establishment is as well. But if you raise this subject about the white working class, you're immediately told that you're far right. If you show pride in your flag, you're called a flag shagger. And if you defend working class men, well, suddenly it's all about toxic masculinity and mansplaining, whatever that means. But at one point in this country, we used to celebrate working class culture. And I want to indulge in a little bit of that today. My favourite films are the so-called kitchen sink dramas of the 60s and early 70s. Things like The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. Kes, much later, from a Kestrel to Knave, Barry Hines. What about Saturday Night, Sunday Morning? What about Room at the Top? Is my money not good enough? Brilliant movies. Even things like Billy Liar, and of course the film play that kicked it all off, Look Back in Anger, which brings me coincidentally on to Oasis. Where's the working class, proper working class bands? When Oasis made it, of course they were up against the art school arty-farty idiots of Damien. I chucked him out of my nightclub one night. Blur. But Oasis were the real thing. And although over the years I've taken the mickey, you can't knock them. They are a genuine working class product. They sing about working class subjects and they've conquered the world. Where's that now? There's none of that now, is there? All that kind of crappy music. So I'm asking a blunt question. From politics to culture to education, has Britain or the establishment abandoned the white working class? So today we get another Anti-Muslim Hate Czar. They get looked after again. But what about the white working class? How many adverts do you have to see where white working class people aren't allowed to apply? The police, further education jobs, certain social worker jobs. They're all for blacks or ethnic minorities. White working class males, and this is straight out of Wikipedia, this quote, in the UK face significant documented disadvantages, including the lowest educational outcomes, poor access to higher education, and systemic neglect. While not based on race, says Wikipedia, they face prejudice and negative stereotypes related to class, such as being labelled as chavs or having their culture, their speech, their dialects, and their habits ridiculed. Why is this the case? I mean, you can even look at Tommy Robinson. One of the major reasons Tommy Robinson isn't acceptable to most of the media is because he's white working class. But it would appear on many things he's also been totally correct. What about the Epping Bell Hotel protests with those women? They were kind of ignored because they were white and working class. Where's the working class sitcoms? There used to be loads, didn't there? Bread, I suppose, was a good example. Mrs. Merton's show, the Royal Family. But there's nothing like that on telly now. The only stuff on telly is taking the mickey out of white working class. I don't mind mocking. I don't mind saying this is amusing to point this out. But there aren't what I would call the working class writers. And there's not in drama. Go to any of the main theatres in this country. I went to Stratford last week and I saw a brilliant play. Really brilliant. But it was set in Malawi, in Africa. It was a great play. But where's the equivalent play about working class people in this country? Nowhere to be seen, because all theatres are run by left-wing loonies who want to talk about the rest of the world, would do a play about Donald Trump slagging him off, but would never do a play where somebody's saying, well, actually, I think he's got the right idea. Culture has been completely captured by the cultural Marxists, and it's wrong. Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner is one of the best movies ever made. You know, at the end when he's winning the cross country and he just stops and basically sticks two fingers up at the authorities. He takes back control of his life. It's a brilliant metaphor or symbol. Same in Kes. From a kestrel to a knave. Jud, you've got my bud. And that woman out of Coronation Street. And it's a brilliant movie. We don't have that anymore. Why not? I suppose the last one we had like that was The Full Monty. But that was more of a comedy. Where is the stories? Where are the stories of working class Britain? Likewise, football. I was talking to a mate of mine on Friday morning, actually. We were talking about something else, talking about politics, but it got on to football. And I said, you know, you must be excited about Coventry going up because, you know, we obviously are going to now. I think we're going to win it. And he said, do you know what, John? I'm not sure I like it as much if we do get promoted. I said, oh, don't start that if we lose every week. He said, no. He just said, Premier League football ain't football, is it? And then I watched the City at the weekend and I sort of get what he means. They've taken it. They've stolen it from us. Wouldn't you much rather see Coventry Millwall than Man U versus Aston Villa? Give me your views. And then football's gone, but darts is still with us. And thank God that darts is, because we can still then hear people chanting, Starmer is a wanker, all over the telly. Brilliant working class humour and political insight in one slogan. So what I'm saying, and if you want to call me a working class snob, well, I'm quite proud to be one of them. I'm proud to come from where I come from. That doesn't mean I don't want to do middle class things and do, other stuff. But my class, the class that creates everything, not just toolmaker, Keir Starmer, or real working class people, we create the greatest art, we create the greatest plays, we create the greatest TV, not some middle class Johnny or middle class Miriam. No, it's working class politicians that are also the greatest as well. Am I a snob? Yes. What do you think? I've had enough of the fact that the white working class are being neglected, and bollocks to a czar for anti-Muslim hatred. Let's have a czar for anti-white male hatred. They can start by looking at all the schools and all the universities and stop looking down your snooty noses at our culture, the way we talk, the way we speak, and treating us as if we're thick. Because there's one thing the working class are not, and that's thick. We just haven't had the advantages that you lot have had. Not you lot listening now, but I'm talking generally here. Do you like it? Do you like my thesis? Because I couldn't be bothered to talk. I couldn't believe how everyone today is talking, there's going to be a petrol crisis. Of course there might be. Petrol might go up. We're at bloody war. What should we do? I'll tell you what. All you Iranians are getting executed and hung and shot in the street. Can you just shut up? We don't want to pay another 5p for petrol for a couple of months. Please, get a grip, get a life, and get out of mine. I couldn't believe the commentary on the telly today. And they keep going on and on and on. What's the plan? What's the plan? It's pretty obvious what the plan is. Let's just support it. And they're desperate. They are desperate for Donald Trump to fail. But these uber-liberal middle-class idiots haven't thought this through, which is then Iran will still be run by these despots. And we'll still all be in hook to them. And whenever they want to put the price of gas up, they will. Where's the backbone of this country gone? And do you agree with me that things like football have been stolen from the working class? You might just want to indulge, and I'm going to let you, in a bit of nostalgia about the great movies. Friday night, Sunday morning, whatever that one was called. What's the one where the dad thinks the dad keeps serving up the same meal to the girl? Turns out she's pregnant. Is that Spring and Port Wine? What a movie. Hobson's Choice. There's loads where they showed working class culture, but they had a really important message about equality. Brilliant pieces of our culture. So we can talk about that as well if you fancy. Coronation Street, when it was a proper working class soap, not full now of trannies and whatever. I mean, it's just unrealistic. It's like EastEnders. It's unrealistic. Let's talk about the working class. Right, that's enough of me. If you want to join in, feel free, put your comments in, and you're doing it already. If you like what I'm saying, and it's a bit different to what you're finding anywhere else on your radio stations, please press the like button. We've had 14 of them already. That's good news. Press the like button or send a nice comment, or feel free to donate, www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt if you'd like to keep these podcasts going, or click the little $sign and donate money directly onto YouTube. Thanks for all your support. If you missed the show yesterday, a lot of people watched it on Catch Up today or yesterday as well. There's an extra show in the pot. I think it was pretty good. And then, of course, I was out yesterday with my daughter celebrating my birthday. That's the last thing now. We went for a beautiful Italian meal in Birmingham. And my God, has Birmingham changed? We'll talk more about that as the show goes on. Ronnie Hurst, he's going to be our first victim tonight. He's on YouTube. He says, Starmer and co think they're better than us. Yeah, I think that's partly what it is, Ronnie. They have this kind of superior attitude, don't they? Makes me sick. But then when it comes to boots on the ground, where will they come looking? They'll come looking to the toxic masculinity of working class towns and cities and villages and take those men, won't they? Those boys to die in their foreign wars. It won't be Starmer's son. He's probably still revising for his A-levels in Lord Ali's flat. Oh, suits you, sir. Are you with me or against me? And honestly, can you believe the whole of the media today obsessed by the price of petrol? This is how out of touch they are with the man and woman in the street. Ronnie, you've just been on, but he says, I'm working class Labour. I'm working class. Labour wants my votes plus my money. Now the millionaires have buggered off. Well, I'm not sure they've all gone, but I see where you're coming from. Thank you for your comment. Craig Urquhart, it's the working class that has... Oh, no, it's a joke, this. Listen, it is the woking class that have strangled our culture. I quite like that, Craig, but you should have put it in capitals. I nearly missed it. Nice little sarcastic comment. You're right. They seem to think our culture is somehow wrong. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like Oasis. Oh, macho, too aggressive. Shut up. I don't think so. What I believe, I don't think so, says Mike at Cora on YouTube. So I don't think so. What I do believe is that the wealthy are giving up trying to make their wealth trickle down. No one can see a future for the UK anymore, so why bother? So you're blaming it all on the wealth. I don't think that's true, but it's an interesting point you're making. I think your last point is good. Everyone's kind of given up. I think that's not a bad point. Be careful, John. Starmer and co will come after you. They can try. Many have before. On Facebook, Trevor Silkston says, working class people are only there to be taxed, to pay for you-know-what. Well, what are you trying to say? Say it. Don't just do a Radio 5. Oh, you know what? I like Radio 5. Don't be a ponce. Say what you mean. I'll tell you if you're out of order. I think I know what you mean, but rather than me guessing, I'd rather you say it. Lynn Scott, 6842. Yes, since Blair, we have got a lot to sort out. Oh, here we go. It's a Rupert Lowe fan. Aim high, vote low. Lowe. This guy I was talking to, very interesting fella. He was a bit of a Rupert Lowe fan as well. I'm definitely going to have to get Rupert Lowe on. I'm meeting more and more people who are saying, well, John, he's got it right. And I've kind of said, I'm not sure. I'm in Nigel's camp, I think, But convince me if you want to. Let's talk about that as well. But I'm very interested tonight in talking about this working class culture thing that I'm bringing up. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Why can you go and see plays about every other city, every other country in the world? But where's the play for today? I mean, play for today was obviously the BBC title, but they were plays about the world. Where's the plays now about people having to survive? Yeah, I mean, you might get a play or a series about COVID, and the Post Office Inquiry was a good one, but you don't get just what it's like on the front line. Look Back in Anger. Those kind of movies. Plays, well, they all became movies, didn't they? What's your favourite out of all of them? This Sporting Life, when he's a rugby league player and he goes to the restaurant, he orders this big slap-up meal. And the bloke doesn't want to serve him. And he goes, hey, what's up with my money? My money not good enough for you. It's brilliant. With that beautiful woman in it, whose name now always does this to me, whose name I can't remember. No doubt you'll remind me. Who was the female lead? Don't look it up. That's cheating. The female lead in this Sporting Life. Loved that. I love that movie. What we got next? John, I agree with what you're saying about Tommy Robinson. If he delivered his messages with Jacob Rees-Mogg's voice, the perception would be that he's a serious commentator. No, Mick, you've gone too far there, because Jacob Rees-Mogg, to me, he just comes over as a twat as well, because he's so posh. I just mean if Tommy didn't, drop his H's and was a bit more educated, he's obviously highly intelligent, they'd take him more seriously. And sometimes he gets carried away. He's all that rocking, jumping up and down. Yeah. When he's interviewing people, somebody should tell him, stop it. You look stupid. But he's had no media training and he's done well for himself. So he's a bit cocky with it. I've met a lot of people like that, but that's what I think, Mick. So I just think what he has to say is quite important and we should be listening to it, because surely if we haven't banned the Iranian terrorist organization because of free speech, or for whatever reason it is, Starmer hasn't got rid of them, then Tommy has a right to have his say as well, doesn't he? What do you think of Editor's Visitors videos? Are they protecting or provoking the truth? I don't know what the hell you're on about. What do you think of Editor's videos? Never heard of them. Have you spelt it correctly, Roy? Check it out and come back to me on that, because I'd like to see what you mean, because I literally don't understand. I'm not being funny. British movies, British comedy, British music. It was the best in the world. You will find out, John, Premier League isn't the Holy Grail. And that's from Lena Tail, who says she's a Luton fan. Yeah, of course, you went up for one season. You deserve to go up. You did beat. We should have wrapped that up before Wembley. But in the end, I had to concede to my mate Lee and Roberto and people that, they Luton on the day deserved to go up. But yeah, it wasn't very good, was it? I think Coventry will do better than that, if I'm honest. I don't think we'll be coming straight back down. But I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy it as much. I think I've told you about this before. When I lived in Livingston, there was no football team there at the time. It's a new town. It's like Milton Keynes, a micro version of that. And we used to go and watch Motherwell play. They've got their own team now, Livingston. We used to go and watch Motherwell, and it was brilliant. It was 4-3, 5-2. The pitch was like the Somme. People were breaking their legs, ambulances were coming, fans were having a bit of a fisticuffs. Proper football. I loved it, I tell you. I absolutely loved it. But football's not that anymore, is it? Now you're not even... There's signs up saying, please don't swear. Well, fuck off. If you've worked all week and you're not allowed to say somebody's a donkey. Don't get me wrong. I don't agree with any racist nonsense. But you have a right to tell these people they're overpaid prima donnas, don't you? Or you might hurt his feelings. Toughen up on 25 grand a week, if you don't mind me saying. Roy Brownlow's not made me understand anymore. He's just written auditors. So what he was going on about earlier, videos by auditors. What videos are you talking about, Roy? Explain yourself, man. Jackie Ward, she's here. I don't know who is really running the government, but they are prejudiced against the white working class. You're right. I'm sorry if this is not PC, but this is not a Muslim country. So why do we have to curtail to all their beliefs? Why are we eating halal meat? Well, I refuse to do so. Why are we told we mustn't offend them when it seems fine to offend everyone else? We're going to be under Sharia law by 2050 at this rate. Thank you, Jackie. I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from completely. Who's this next? Hello, John. Thigh haggis. This is a ridiculous question. Hello, John. Can you tell me, are you related to a man called Roy? What kind of question is that? Roy who? No, I'm not. Why would I be? What does it mean? Who's Roy? Do you just ring up people and ask questions on phone-ins, random questions? You ever met anyone called Gervais? Well, actually, I have. But anyway, let's move on. Doing my head in. Tommy Robinson, May the 16th, white speech. I would like you don't be one of the speakers. What? Winston Johnson, 7947. Another one is writing too quickly. Slow down. Tommy Robinson, May the 16th, white speech. I would like you, don't be one of the speakers. Well, you'd like me to be one of the speakers. I don't do rallies. But, so if that's what you're asking, no. I don't do it. Roy Brownlove says, Kes. Roy, are you playing some weird game where you just put one-word answers in? You put auditors before, Kes. Is it like a modern poem and I just don't get what you're trying to do? Because you're doing me head in. Kes is a great working class film, if that's what you're saying. Auditors. What's auditors? Sorry. Well, anyway. Oh, Winston Johnson's come back. I'd like you, John, to be one of the speakers. No, sorry. No, it's not for me, my friend. But I hope you have a good day. And by the way, there's no H in my name. Thank you very much indeed. Anybody going to donate tonight? I was in all kinds of trouble yesterday. She had a face like a sack of spanners. You're not getting anyone to contribute anymore. What's wrong? Have you lost your touch? I said, maybe. I don't think so. The numbers are looking great. Thank you for telling all your friends about the Jon Gaunt Show. And don't forget, the most important way to help me is to join Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube. A little pop-up will come up the first time you look at it and say, do you want to subscribe? Don't be put off. That doesn't mean you have to pay any money. It just means you'll always know when I'm doing extra shows, etc., and you can get into the archive. I am going to be expanding and doing more shows soon, but there's more of that for the future. But in the meantime, if you want to support me with a little donation, just click on the little $ and send me whatever you can afford. Or alternatively, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt, and you can donate anything from a $5 upwards. You can buy me a coffee or a beer. It'd be really good if you could. Thank you. Roy Brownlove, he's changed now. It's no longer just one word. He's saying, we aren't allowed to be working class anymore. We're either left or right. Well, I think even left and right's disappearing now, but I know where you're coming from, Roy. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know. It's more that it's not about us being allowed. What I'm trying to say is, where's the celebration of working class culture? And why do the knobs who want us for their wars and to vote for them actually hate us and despise us? That's really what I'm getting. And that's what this picture behind is. You know, this is the England fans celebrating. Well, they're having a good laugh. They're not causing any trouble. It's mixed, different people, different colours, celebrating our great country. It's brilliant. It's like when I sat outside that pub in my daughter's village. And I said, I'm just having a beer. It was so hot that day. I've been working on her allotment, right? And so I sat there in the sun, and then people started slagging me off, saying, that's not even British beer. I thought you were a patriot. What are you drinking lager for? From Spain. So then when I told them it was Madrid, it's not built, it's brewed in Tadcaster or somewhere. It's just got a Spanish name for marketing purposes, and it was a hot day. What am I bothering to explain? And I wanted to have a cold lager. They somehow thought I wasn't a proper British blood. Then I realised it was all the lefty twats who were doing that. I got over 1 million comments on that tweet. I just wish I could repeat it. Where are we going next? Music lover Dave. John, these Labour people say they support the workers, but the workers who voted Brexit, and they don't like mass immigration and woke nonsense. So then they hate them. Yeah. Well, I don't think it's... I can't speak for the working class, but I don't hate immigration. I think immigration's been great for the country. Well-controlled, managed immigration. Of course. Nothing wrong with that. We need immigrants. But you cannot just let everybody in. And you can't let the flip-flop warriors at Dover jump the queue. That's just plain common sense. So you have to have deter, detain, and deport. Rip up the human rights, or the ECHR, whatever it's called this week, and basically put them behind barbed wire and process them within a week. No appeals, get out. Stelios, chucks away. But no, Labour, son of a tool maker, he's certainly a fucking tool, he says, no, we'll give them all 40 grand. Bonanza. They already think Britain is El Dorado. Now, how long? And well, when did we put Matthew, whatever his name is, remember, on Game for a Laugh? When did we put him in charge of immigration? Everyone's a winner. I've just nearly knocked my computer over there on my camera. I do apologise. Let's move on. Craig Urquhart, he says, you can have that one on me, John. That was that joke earlier. Thank you, my friend. It was a funny line. Keep it up. You can give out the pencils at the next meeting. Heard on the radio this morning they want to allow soldiers to wear makeup and nail varnish. Monty Python is now becoming a reality, says Leanne Teal. Yeah, I saw that as well. Why? I can't see any reason. Do you know what? I've got nothing against a gay person. Even there's a transsexual, if I'm right, in the SAS. Hard bugger. I haven't got I've got to be careful what words I use, haven't I? I haven't got a problem with that at all. But this idea that we should, it's like there's a school where they're allowing boys now to wear frocks to go to school. I mean, it's mental, isn't it? Kind of a whole generation of people completely confused. Completely and utterly confused. And I don't want to share a toilet with a lady. I just don't. I'm sorry. Here's one. The Family Way. Oh, and what about Alan Bleasdale? He wrote loads of good stuff as well. Yes, he did. His Elvis play was brilliant. Of course, Boys from the Black Stuff was outstanding. Gizzard job. That defined a whole sort of generation, didn't it? Brilliant writer. And Willie Russell. There's quite a few of those Liverpudlian writers. Educating Rita. The play is tremendous, but the film was very good as well. Michael Caine and Julie Waters. That's what I'm trying to say, where they celebrated working class life. You don't really see that anymore. Dave Oxford's made a good point. He says, you only have to look at the TV ads. I think you're right, mate. I understand exactly what you are saying. How many mixed race couples? My daughter's in a mixed race relationship, if you want to call it that. But does it mean every advert has to be a black fella and a white woman, or vice versa? I just find it all stupid. But see, advertising epitomizes woke. Yeah, all the people who go into advertising. Can't we just all be? I've got to be careful what word I use there as well. Just stop myself. You can guarantee if a kitchen sink drama is shown on TV, it will have a bullshit warning before it goes out. It's definitely a woke society we're in today. You mentioned Blur, John. I can remember you slating Travis on Coldplay on TalkSport as well. Yeah, I would. Middle class, white boys, public school educated, ponces, trying to play rock and roll. They can't play rock and roll. Coldplay, that my wife loves Coldplay, but they're a women's band. They're not a man's band. You wouldn't hear a proper fella say, yeah, I'm off to see Coldplay tonight. Whereas you might see someone say, yeah, I've got Oasis tickets, can't wait. Going to get right smashed up beforehand. Yeah? The idea of men going to see Coldplay, pull yourself together. Travis had one song, that one about It's Going to Rain on My Head or whatever it was called. Who's the other band? Travis and Coldplay. Yeah, I did slag them off. You're right. I just think it's white boy, public school boy trash. And, you know, Damon Albarn, I chucked him out of my nightclub. He was pissed up. He's another one. But he puts on the Cockney accent to make out his working class. His dad's a bloody lecturer or something. They were useless, weren't they? They had a couple of good songs. I like the song with Phil Daniel in it. Part Life, that was all right. I tell you a good band from that period who weren't necessarily that aggressive. Not Blur, what they call Pulp. They were a good band. Jarvis Cocker, yeah? He sang about working class culture. That line about we met in wherever it was, where he had to start somewhere, yeah? Brilliant. Brought up on a diet of broken biscuits. Everybody who's working class knows what that means. They've been to Woolies with the mum and you picked the broken biscuits because that was cheap. That's what you did. I love it. I love it. But I'd like to see more working class films. I would. Where are they? They only allow them when it's a big pressing social issue. like Adolescence, or when it's a period drama like Peaky Blinders? Where's their balls? There's a great TV series to be written about what we're living under at the moment, and it might upset a lot of people. But where's somebody writing a great TV series about race? Or dare I even say it, about Islam? Or about the flip-flop warriors? About people who don't like what's going on? It can have whatever ending you want. What I'm saying is, why don't they tackle the difficult subjects? I mean, that's what Play for Today did, didn't it, on BBC? We have to be able to discuss these important things. No? Without being labelled as far right. Waitress! You're a waitress! Gets on my nerves. There aren't as many working class jobs anymore, such as the old mines, the car industry, steel, potteries, and the clothing mills, which most of the old films were based around. Yeah, I can see the logic of that. We still got funeral directors, so we could have a modern Billy Liar. Mr. Shadrick, wasn't it? That was it. Brilliant. That movie is brilliant. I take your point, but we've still got working class culture, David KT. We have. They've tried to destroy it. Thiagus. John, you lived in Livy? I know Livy too. I grew up there. You have my sympathy. No, I'm joking. I had 2 years living in Scotland. 2 years, 3 years, in Livingston. I ran the Livingston Forum, where they had the big raves that Irvine Welsh talks about in his novels. And I loved it. I loved the people. They were rough as old arseholes, a lot of them. They were moved out of Glasgow and places like that into Livingston, which is right, well, not in between, but it's on the M8, basically, in between Glasgow and Edinburgh. And it was just a great place. I think that's where I learned to drink properly. You know, they have that half and half. So you have a pint of their that fizzy beer. Everything's fizzy in Scotland. That's the only problem. And then you have a tot of whiskey with it. I went to that's one of the best nights ever. We got invited for New Year's Eve, or Hogmanay, as they call it. I said, oh, where's it at then? Oh, it's at your house. I said, what do you mean? Well, we go from house to house. Well, I'd never done that before. We were out to about 7 a.m. First footing, they call it. They've still got their culture. Yeah, I like Livingston. I liked it a lot. Well, fan here, John. Well, fan here. What does that mean? Craig, have you caught that disease off the other guy? Hi, Johnny gone, says Winston Johnson. I think you're on drugs. Are you related to Ronnie Pickering, John? Are we now playing a silly game? No, I'm not. Who the hell's Ronnie Pickering? Oh, here's the one now. Sorry, I knew a man called Roy Gaunt. You looked a bit like him. That's why I asked. Sorry for asking, pal, says Thigh Haggis. Not a problem. It was just a weird question that came out of nowhere. My mate Brett used to wind me up about that. There's a bloke in our pub. I haven't seen him for years. And he used to say, that's your brother. And I said, what are you on about? He said, well, he's the spitting image. And your dad was a bit of a boy, wasn't he? I reckon he's related. Go and ask him if you're... I said, get lost, Brett. He's dead now. Passed away. Great bloke. One of my best mates ever. I heard another one of my mates has been seriously ill. I didn't know about it, but I'm going to go out for a drink with him, especially now because he said I can't really eat and drink as much. I thought, well, that'd be cheap. So that's a joke. Good evening, John. Just home from earning everyone else's bills and their hotel bills as well. Says Annette Locke. I like your humour. Thank you. Good evening. And this is Leanne Tail. Oh, you brought up now. Let's have a bit of nostalgia now. She says the football match scene in Kes was brilliant. It was. Have you seen it? Just to remind you, Brian Glover, what an actor. He was a wrestler as well. He plays the teacher. He plays the sports teacher. And he's like every sports teacher you've ever had. He thinks he's Bobby Charlton. So when he plays football, he's on the pitch as well, not just refereeing. And Casper, Billy, He just turns up without his PE kit. And we've all done this when we were kids. So he makes them wear the big baggy shorts out of the lost property. Oh, brilliant. And then Casper's messing around in the goalposts and that whole comes out. That scene was brilliant. And then they do the commentary, don't they? There's, I don't know who it is, a famous commentator, but as if it is Bobby Charlton playing. But he was my hero. He was, and I went to see him wrestle Brian Glover with my mate Banger. I think he was wrestling against my mate Banger, who was Banger Walsh, who was always the opposition to Big Daddy in later life. But he's passed away. Everyone I know has passed away. And Brian Glover's passed away. But Brian Glover was on the wrestling bill. I think it was Bedeth Civic Hall, or it might have been St. Albans. I don't know. What a night that was. And then when I wrote my when I wrote my play, Hooligans, that won all these awards at Edinburgh Festival, Yorkshire TV bought the rights to it. So they turned it into a TV film. It wasn't very good, to be honest. And I got distracted. Anyway, whatever. But when it went out on telly, Brian Glover introduced it because there were 6 new writers they were using, and I was one of them. The other one, she went on to do quite well for herself, Kay Miller. You mean Kay Miller? Band of Gold. Now, she's a good working class writer, bit like Linda LaPlante. We don't hear from her anymore, do you? With all the crime. Anyway, I'm digressing. So we all went up to Yorkshire to watch it because it was on regional telly first. And Brian Glover comes on and introduces my play. I can't tell you how I felt. I just felt unbelievable. And he said, if I was 40 years younger, I'd want to play that part that young Nipper plays. And he was my mate who was in it. He played the skinhead in this play about football. He was only about 4 foot 2.5 conkers. I don't know. And he had a skinhead cut and all the business. He was good. He was very good in it. And Brian Glover said, I want him to play me. But when you have a hero introducing your work, I had the same thing with Roger Moore. Yeah. When I wrote my autobiography, Roger Moore, they asked Roger Moore in the Sunday Times, what you're reading at the moment? And he said, Undaunted, that book by that talk jock, Jon Gaunt. Roger Moore reading my book, bloody James Bond. See, I have been touched by greatness. Unfortunately, none of it stuck to me. But there we are. I'll tell you about the day I met George Martin and told him I was bigger than the Beatles, if you're lucky. Right, let's move on. Johnny Walker. It's because the white people are the only people that you can be racist, ageist, and sexist against without it being hate speech. The rest of the world laugh at us, as per usual. That's kind of where I'm coming from with my thinking, John. Thank you very much indeed for that. The 2 people that stick up for white males the most are Andrew Tate and, in particular, Jordan Peterson. Well, Jordan Peterson's a very intelligent man. Andrew Tate is a twat. So don't make out he knows what he's talking about. He's from Luton. He didn't get the brain cells. They obviously went to Tommy. Tate's an idiot. An absolute idiot with his big cigars and, I'm this, I'm that. Yeah? He needs a good kicking down the back of the Arndale Centre, in my opinion, metaphorically speaking. So don't make out he's any good. He's an idiot. I would love to see a modern This Is England, says Sam Morgan. That was a great series. You're right. That's written by the lad from Leicester, isn't it? He was a working class lad. He's written quite a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, This Is England. Very good. Hi, John. The brilliant Richard Hawley from Pulp. Great music. I've seen him live. What did he play? Was he on the keyboards or something? Huh? Now we've got trouble now. We've got the Livingston boys offering each other out. I thought this guy might get in touch. Livy boy, David McGeechee, he's followed me for centuries, haven't you, Dave? He says, who does that guy think he is? There's only one Livy boy, and that's me. That's very true, Dave. You are the Livingston fan. There's no 2 ways about it. You've been with me forever. So thank you very much. I do appreciate your support. And also, he gave me a great donation, that man. Talking of which, we've not had 1 donation today. What is wrong with you? Maybe your skin. I understand that. When's payday? It's weeks away. Huh? What am I meant to do till then? What? Scooby-Dooby-Doo? Big issue? Well, I might have to. I told you about the one I met in London. Was it London or Coventry? He goes, big issue. I said, yeah, I'll have one, mate. So I give him the money. He says, would you mind not taking the magazine? I said, why? He said, because you probably won't read it. And if you leave it with me, I can sell it again. I said, I like your style. I like your style. So anyway, I said, forget about the change as well. I must have been flush. John Turpin. He's talking about Kes. Man United versus Spurs. 5th round FA Cup replay. And it's the slightly bald in Bobby Charlton to kick off. Kes. Glover's goal celebration is pure poetry in motion. It is. You're right. It's just a brilliant film. What about that sad bit, though? When he goes and he finds the kestrel in the dustbin, and then he goes to the miners. I don't know if it was the club or the miners' showers, and finds his brother, and he kicks all the doors to find his brother. Brilliant. Who was the woman? She was in Coronation Street, wasn't she? Was it Lynn Perry? Didn't she play like the glamorous, slightly slaggy mother? Do you remember? Brilliant. That's all I'm trying to say is there no culture that now could not be written about? And is it the theatres? I mean, it'd be the BBC, won't it, as well? Because the BBC are completely prejudiced against white people and working class people. The BBC would be a much better institution if it employed more working class people. Because they're all the same, aren't they? All hooray Henrys. Or the equivalent of that in the woke culture. No one's there saying, well, actually, I don't think it is like that. Because then they wouldn't make mistakes like saying, let's stitch together 2 bits of film to make Donald Trump look even worse than he is, or we think he is. I don't know. But we're having an anti-hate Muslims person. Wouldn't it be better to have an anti-Islamist person, the fanatics, stamping down on them? Everything's arse about it in Britain at the moment, isn't it? Don't you think? Anyway, I do. Right, I'm going to go. I'll be back tomorrow at... What day's tomorrow? Tuesday. I'll be back at 6. Thanks for watching. I hope I've entertained you in some way. If you're watching later, don't forget to join or subscribe to Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube, where you'll find all the archive. Don't forget, you can also pay in, donate if you fancy, on www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. What's this? There's another clever... Idahoman325. Was this asked, about 40 years ago? If so, then the obvious answer, seen by toddlers and on up in age, is yes. I hope that makes sense to you, because it didn't make sense to me. Lean Teal says, nice one, John, thank you. I was back. Actual attention and fight. As it stands, the UK is considered already captured. Change that reality. You're not Tolstoy, are you? Huh? But anyway, thanks for your comments. I'm off. I shall speak to you tomorrow. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.